See if this is gonna work this time. Like, tried to record for 2 seconds and it like messed up. I think it's working now. Okay, so here we are back in the room. Back in, well, it's our room, but you know what I mean? It's my room. It's a room. It's a room where I'm recording these videos for. It's like the only. There's another surface open now, I guess I should say. There's another surface I could use, but I'm not gonna use it. This seems to work fine, so I'm just gonna go with this. Hopefully this stays on, and it looks like it's recording fine. So hopefully this is. I appreciate you guys sticking with me through these videos. It's just been fun to do. It's something I've needed to do. It's just been many years. So here we are. And I know these videos run long. This one's probably going to be the longest because I want to get through all this stuff. So I appreciate you sticking with me. And if you're wondering what this is doing here, I needed like an ingenious idea, because every time I would bump this or I would do something, you know, to show this thing, this camera would move. And I'm like, this is where I had my camera in this little, like, you know, I don't remember what we used to call it, like this little gorilla arm thing, whatever you know, and I'm like, this is the ingenious idea. And I just put it on there. That's the ingenious idea. That's literally it. So I'll put this in and see if it kind of like, you know, if it works. Hopefully I don't stop. If I stop the video because the button on the top gets squished when I push it in here, I'll just start the video up again, so no big deal. So let's talk about the Pokemon cards, right? I took this out. You guys saw this. I took it out in like one of the videos, or I took it out earlier. There used to be more cards in here. It was like up to here, right? And it's just because I wanted to fill out this binder with stuff for my son, obviously. And it's just kind of like some stuff, you know, like just stuff that he might want in there. It's cool. I mean, obviously I don't care about the rest of the cards I have. They're good cards. It's just that it's kind of about you know, making him something like. And part of the issue, what I wanted to get into with Pokemon, is I can't seem to find any Pokemon cards. And my issue was I was just trying to find some cards to play the game with. You know what I'm saying? And I can't seem to find any cards. So how do I play the game? I mean, I have some cards in there. I mean, these were my cards when in 1999 that I messed around with. But there's not really enough in there like to even play the game. And, you know, some people have said you could just buy bulk or something. I probably will have to, just to have fun. That might be the best way to go. But I wanted him to open packs too, like I did, right? We opened packs and we got the cards. It's part of the game. It's fun. But I'm trying. It's not about the collecting. It's about the playing. I can't really say that because look at me, you know. And I put it in a binder. Of course, it's about the collecting too. But in these stages, I wanted it to be about playing the trading card game, not just the trading card collecting. You know. But I can't see him. So I was like, do I get into that sorcery game like I've kind of seen and people have talked about? Do I get into like One Piece? I just saw that was out. I'm like, oh, maybe we could play One Piece or something. I don't know how available those cards are, so I'm just gonna like, maybe I'll buy some more of this and we can make some decks and we can play and we'll see. I'm sure it'll be fine, but that's the situation with Pokemon. So I don't want to show this now because it was more about talking about that, but I'll open it and just kind of explain what I eventually find out because really what I want to do is go to the card shop and ask their take on it, because I'm guessing they'll probably know. Maybe get some things for him if I'm able to find anything, and then show this and make the video, and maybe we can open something and, you know, it'll be fun, whatever. So anyway, let's just get the rest of this out so we can kind of show this. Where were we at here? I'm just gonna pull some stuff out and then I can put the camera in here. I don't remember what was what. I put this back after, like, I looked, you know, like I got all these busted up cards here, you know, that were all kind of tore up that I don't really care about. I mean, I do care, it sucks, but these weren't tore up because they're on this little like bridge that I made when I was a kid, and like fun. I got other fun stuff in here, right? It's not messed up because these were messed up a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Where's the ones that were all beat up? These ones, like, ripped up. It didn't happen. That didn't happen from sitting in here. Like, these were already screwed up. And that's why a lot of these cards, let me just, like, pull some of this stuff out. I think we already went through these. These were, like, uncommons. I went through those. That's why a lot of those are not, like, messed up, because the ones that were messed up, I'm just going to pull some stuff out here and we can go through it if we already haven't. We might have gone through some of this because I just kind of put it back in there. I don't know. This, I'm looking, I think this is, one of these is my red deck. I'm guessing it's this one down here because I don't think we pulled that out. This is going to fall if I do that though, but well, you know what? Whatever, it's just going to fall, I guess. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and then we're going to move that back over there. I'll move this stuff over here out of the way. Okay. Just to kind of go through it, you know what I mean? I'm looking for this one of these must be the red. I guess it's this one, and I'm really excited to look through that and go through that because that's the one that it had a lot of fun playing. That it's a lot of nostalgia for me. So we'll look at those. This is just some bulk cards, and I guess because I want to put this. I only have the camera out so I can show, like, dig into all the stuff. Here's all the stuff I put back. Well, I put that back because I went through that, right? And here's the rest of the stuff. And let's just, maybe I'll just dig in here and see, just so I can, you know, there's nothing that I didn't. Let's put these over here, like, so they're not messed with. Get the binder out. Let's put the binder, we'll put the binder over here. And like pennies, it's just like coins and rocks, and it's just stuff when you're a kid. And did we go through this? No, we went through, I don't remember. I'll just put in case I need it, because I want to get this stuff on here, get out of the way. And this one, of course, that I'm excited to show, because this is part of the story, right? I don't think there's anything under here. This is just like, those are sports cards. Oh, not that, no. Anything? Cool. Okay, I'll just put it. We got Patrick Ewing. Who we got on all this? Ashburn, Tony Kukoc, Dan Marley. Do I have the whole set of this? Maybe I do. John Starks, New York Knicks. John Starks. Love John Starks, right? And we got, what is, oh, I got more. Wait a minute. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, this is not Magic cards for sure. Like, these are actual, like, racing cards, but so I know these. Well, you know what? Maybe I'll save that for another. I'm pretty sure they're not Magic cards, but this is something in there. No, but this is all tore up. There's nothing in here, but well, whatever. I'm just going to put it out of the way. And then of course, those are sports cards. I'm pretty sure. I could look in there, but there's nothing under here. Like, that's it. So anyway, let's move this out of the way so I can put this up here and we can kind of go through just like the Magic cards. That's what we're here for, right? But that just goes to show, like, how many of these, you know, I've been wanting to talk about that. That's part of this video. Like, how many of these stupid things that I bought. And I love this set. The Urza's block was my set. Man, I must have bought, this is probably the set I bought most of, was the whole Urza's block of that stuff. I mean, I bought Tempest too. Like I said, my first pack was like Mirage, I'm pretty sure. I know that gets thrown around probably, like, oh, I bought, but I'm serious. Like, I never claimed to be in it, like, from a long time ago. I only got into this in 97, you know, but I found other stuff. I was able to get, you know, back then you could get back to Ice Age stuff, which I got some fascination with Ice Age. I've always loved Ice Age for some reason, but I just, like I said, you weren't really supposed to buy that, you know. You were kind of laughed at if you did that. It was always a push forward to buy the newer stuff. So, you know, you started in 5th edition, and anything before there, I remember, was kind of like, yeah, I was able to find stuff because I was one of the few guys who really liked that stuff, right? But, you know, you couldn't really, you had to kind of like, shh, you can't really say anything, you know, like you just kind of like, oh yeah, I got some of that. But a lot of these cards, like the bulk of these cards, I got from my friend Ryan, at least a fair amount of them. You know what I mean? I'm trying to, let's see if there's Tempest right there. Yeah, we'll look through that. So anyway, let's put this in here, and if the video stops, I'll just put it back. So let's see if I can get this going. Maybe I can just set it like that. No, but that's gonna be too messed up. Did it work? Did it work? Clean the lens? Did it work? I think we're still going, so let's... Cool. Okay, let's set it down then. That worked pretty slick. How about that? I used a stand. I used a camera stand. Congratulations to me for figuring out how to use a camera stand, right? So where do we go? So anyway, that's kind of how I got into Magic. Oh, here's the old card. So I think we looked through these, right? Probably. That's kind of how I got into Magic. I got a lot of these random foreign cards around. Sorry, I need to probably like move this stuff back so I can actually... That's kind of how I got into Magic cards. I think we showed this. Oh yeah, the Never Narrows disc. We showed this. Got some foils. I love these foils, man. These foils were so cool. Ruin. Oh yeah, because the Juggernaut. Yeah, we showed. I'm pretty sure I looked through it. Oh yeah, Wrath of God, right? Oh, I had that. Oh, Kraken. That one is not... This one was hard to use. This was a good card. I mean, it's a big creature, but it comes into play tapped, so that's a problem. Some Psyche. I think I put some of these in a case when I went through these, just so they were... Yeah, that messed up one. I'm like, I might as well just put it in there. I don't know why. Oh, all the Dark Rituals. Yeah, all the Dark Rituals I found. Power Sync. Riptide. That's an original card. Like whatever set that was. But a lot of these cards, I guess that's a good example to make. A lot of these cards are like this one I found. This one was in the mix of crap, right? Of stuff, wherever it was. This is not the set, right? I think this was Legends, right? This was not that. This is... I had to really think about it, and I'm like, this is... It's not... If it's another edition, it's got like a white... There's no symbol, right? It's like 4th edition, 5th edition, whatever it was. There's similarities, and there's differences, especially for the old cards, right? You guys know this. From the old cards, because they have the date, right? And there's differences. Not to mention the color and, you know, the text and stuff like that, right? But it was kind of about the border. These were black bordered cards, right? Whereas, you know, or at least these sets were, right? But these were not. So I wanted to say these were like, I want to say these were Chronicles or something, because I remember us talking about that. I didn't know the difference. So in 1998-ish, going into 99 after Urza's was out, it was hot. It was all Urza's, right? It was all about Urza's. You know, you were even more inclined to play the newer sets and stuff like that. I pulled these out to go into that that green deck, wherever it was. I think we showed some of this stuff, right? I almost nicked that card. Hey, Lifeline. Is that good now? Is that a thing? See, there's another one right there. You know what I'm saying? Some foils that I put in a row. Just some old foils. Misdirection, this, that, blah, blah, blah. I think we looked through these, right? The old Earthbind. A card with... These are always trip me out, especially in Ice Age. I know we're jumping around in the story here, but it's just a block of text. It was like, man, like, come on. Give me my lightning bolt and get out of here, you know? Like, Justice. Some of these are probably not, like... There's another old card. These are old cards right here. Some of these are not. What was I going to say? I guess valuable or rare. I think that's what I was going to say. Like, they're just ones I put in the case, I guess. I don't know. Like, some of these I put in just the other day, just because it was in that pile in that the bin over here, and I was like, let me just put some of these. I have some of these sleeves, you know, for when I eventually do go through these. But most of these were already in the sleeve. The only ones I put in were like stuff in this pile right here. And I probably should have had gloves on doing this, right? But part of this was I was going to go through this, right? And I was going to go through the binder, right? I was going to go through this. I was going to go through this binder, and it's all protected, you know? So I'm like, I don't really need gloves. Not to mention the deck, when I eventually get the red deck out, it was like, I've touched that deck. That deck has been touched. I've touched that deck a countless amount of times, right? So, Aberoth, that was one that... The mountains, plains... Oh, yeah. That's going to be... We'll talk about that one, right? Oh, here's some rares right here. Regrowths, Fellwar Stone, Icy Manipulators. Oh, that Lotus Petal. Yeah, this is where it ended, because that Lotus Petal. I never did find those. I got to figure out. Of course, I didn't really look, so I guess we'll see where that's at. Anyway, let's get this out of here. So, you know, it was all Urza's back then, and we were playing, we were ripping packs, we were opening these things like I was like crazy, and it's still probably, I mean, next to like Ice Age and some of these older sets, some of the cards in these sets, it's probably my favorite group of sets, and that's kind of where I stopped playing, so I don't really know anymore, but I don't think anything would change my mind just because it was so much fun. But part of this was, you know, when we played this stuff with friends, we stayed over one kid's house, I remember, quite a few times, and it was, I think, which one was, let me see. I think this is the green deck. We looked to right. No, this is, oh no. This is black. Is this my original black deck? Oh my God, it might be. This might be. Look at all these swamps. No, that's a lot of land. That can't be. Or maybe I just put land in there. This looks like part of what I had as my black deck, though. Oh, this had to have been it. This is too many swamps. Maybe I just threw a bunch of swamps in here. This had to be my... Yeah, because look, I had... This had to be it. This had to be my black deck. I just... that seems like it's only partially done. Like, it's not all the cards. I don't know. I was for sure this was going to be the red one. And this one, this is the green one we went through, right? Yeah, this is... And I was going to put all these cards over here. Back in here. Because some of these went in here. Crawworm. This is how it started out, right? Like crawworms and elves and stuff. This was like the OG, like when I didn't know what I was doing, and I just kind of, you know, had the deck that I would get beat on, you know, until I got tired of that, and then I made the red deck. You know, we went through a process of theory crafting. Kids were trying different decks. Most kids were playing blue or they played, a lot of kids played black. They played black decks. It was blue, a mix of blue, good cards, and some mixed. It was like white mixed with something. It was never full white. I know we talked about that. It was never, nobody played like a full white. It was like white with maybe green, or white with, you know, maybe red or black or blue. You know, nobody really played red except me. And green, playing full green was like, yeah, like, come on. There was some green combo decks, but that's kind of how. So red was kind of left to me, and green was kind of like, I mean, if you wanted to, but you know, like, so where is the? We didn't look through here, right? I'm guessing it must be in here, unless I don't have it, or it's in the little container with my lands that I never did find. I don't know. I guess we'll see. But this was. Did I talk about this already? The Nemesis thing? Someone mentioned did I say all that? Maybe I did. This is not the symbol for somebody enlightened me to the fact this is not. Nemesis was like when I stopped playing. This was like the end of the story, like 2001 or something. Right? And I don't know if I just said this or not, but I had this on my mind, right? That someone said like Nemesis, I thought it was that symbol. It's not. Nemesis is actually this symbol right here, right? It's this actual, and I have some of that stuff. I have a little bit of it. You know, I don't have a lot of it, but this is just like a pre-made deck I got back in the day. But I remember like what's it about? Let's check it out, because I hadn't bought anything for. It wasn't like a year, because this probably would have been gone. I guess maybe it was a few months, and I'm like, let's just check it out. And that's kind of when I got out of it, because I had moved. You know, I had moved away. And that's kind of the end of the story, right? I moved away, and yeah. I'll talk about that, I guess, after a bit. I moved away. A lot of my friends were, you know, you made new friends. I had like one friend that was still interested in playing the game. Not really. Like two friends, you know, one friend kind of stuck with it, and that's kind of how I got into that story about that one promo card. The thing, like we got this like little mini tournament, like a few years after we stopped playing. But when I moved away in like, you know, later 2000, like going to 2001, my new friends were not into this. Like they would mess around with it. They didn't really make fun of me. I was like, you know, accept it. It was good, but they were the type that were like, hey, we're we're kind of like causing trouble, and you know, we're chasing girls, and we're like smoking weed and stuff. We're not playing, you know, playing cards. So that's kind of how it ended up. Let's look in here, and that was the end of it. I got a few of those cards. Those you know, let's bring the binder up here too. Those decks of cards, like it was funny because by then I had started my friend on green. I was like, you can have some green, and I did the same thing to him. I was like, you can have green, and you know, I would play. I had this deck by then because it was the end of the story, but I was like, I don't want to, you know, bust that out. This was more like, wow, look at this, you know, rather than playing one of these other decks. I'm guessing it's in here, right? This is oh yeah, we showed this, right? But I don't know what's in here, so I'm guessing. I hope it's in here. And I would just play the red deck, and I would just smoke him. You know what I mean? And then he got tired of it, and we didn't play for a while. And then a few years later, he got back into it. But I really never got back into it. You know, that was a weird thing. Like from after Mercadian, I didn't really care about it. Right? I didn't really care about, you know. Playing. There's Mercadian right there. I liked Mercadian. I thought it was okay. I thought it was fine. My friends were like, I was still more into Urzas and stuff, right? But Mercadian was sort of like, why? You know, like it was all right for me. It wasn't my favorite. It was okay just because it came out like later in '99. But you know, people didn't seem to like it too much. It was like okay. And then they phased out of it. I phased out, and then I moved, and that was kind of the end of it. But it did feel like that was not like a fun time. Like it was just like they're okay, but we sort of ignored those cards, you know, like sort of. Like you could use them, but I don't remember anything being real cheese back then that they didn't want you to use. So, and I can't remember what I was going to say now. Honestly, like. At the end of that, obviously, I'd moved, so it didn't really matter. But for some reason, it felt like people weren't, at least my friends, people weren't taking it that seriously. There was nothing exciting about it then And I kind of felt that way too, in a weird way. It's sort of hard to explain. And so kind of what I'm trying to explain by doing these videos too is to tell you, can I like tip this up a little bit so we can see this whole thing? That's kind of my unique, we showed these already, right? I pulled these, I'm pretty sure. Is to kind of show my perspective from someone coming from an era of Magic where it's a little bit unknown, right? Because like I was saying, I come from somewhere, it's not the beginning, but it's not past a certain rate. I was only playing, that's kind of the end of the story. I was only playing, oh, look at that. Ring of Gix. These, is my camera still on? Let me make sure this is still like working. Yeah, okay, we're not having problems. This was the card. I said something the other day. I was like, oh, it's that card or whatever. And I had copies of it. And I think I was thinking of these. But it was another, it was another Gix or something, right? But it was these. I was going to use these or something at some point. Like I had some idea, not theory crafting back then, right? Idea. And I didn't use them. I ended up getting copies. This is like one of the last cards I think I got that I actually like traded for, looked for, but I didn't end up doing that. And anyway, this is kind of a unique perspective is what I'm trying to say from 97, where I started in like 5th edition and everything was pushed like, okay, you're going to start buying what was that? Let's look back here. Like Tempest. You're going to start buying Tempest. And you're going to start buying like, what's another? Like, well, not that. Can you guys see these cards? Probably not. Can I put them this way? No, I'll just leave them like that. Maybe like that? I don't know. I don't know what comes out good. Oh, there's some more. Let me sit up a little bit, guys. Yeah, you're gonna be, oh, this one right here. Here you go. Let me take these out right here. Whatever these are. Karn, one of my favorite cards. Karn, Grim Monolith, Masticore. I gotta talk about that. Oh my god, I gotta talk about that. Karn was one of my favorites. That was a good card too. But Karn, I love that card. This was good in the story too. It's part of the storyline. Tried to trade for these cards. I only think I got 2 of them. But I don't know if I ever really used him. Let me finish what I'm talking about, though. Yeah, and these cards, yep. And I was, is this on camera? It was like buy Tempest, get Exodus, right? Get these other sets, get Mirage. Mirage was kind of older. I pulled that first, and it was like 5th edition, and you only go forward. You're not going back. And I would still look for cards. I couldn't really say anything, but I would get them, and a lot of it, like I was saying, Chronicles, I would get from my friend Ryan. And you didn't really go back to get other cards. Like what I knew wasn't like a lot of these old cards. Like, so these cards are very familiar to me, instead of alpha, beta, and all that stuff. You didn't see, there was copies of those cards and, stuff like this or whatever, and they were around. Some kids would use them, not these ones. I got to talk about these ones, but they were around, and I didn't really care to use some of these. Some of these I used in my decks, but it was a perspective of like, you started at a play, you're into something that it had started, but it didn't feel like it had been going on forever. And looking back, it wasn't, right? It was only going on for a little while. And is this coming through on camera? Let me check it out. Yeah. And I was only in it for a little while, right? And kind of, this is like the best position for the camera, so I'll just leave it kind of like that. And so playing it was, for me, was like, there was older stuff out. You could see it, but you couldn't own it. But I didn't really need to use it because there was other stuff, right? But it was really fun because it was like I could go back and look for some of these older cards and kind of put them into my deck and use them. And the kids wouldn't say no. They just didn't like that I maybe found out about it or could go find a copy. You could find some packs of stuff, but not that much. You know, like Ice Age you could still find, but you'd get kind of laughed at if you got that. It was always one of my favorite sets, so I don't know. All I can say is that, you know, it was a life of playing Magic through one of my favorite times, you know, of Urza's, and, you know, Urza's, and having a lot of fun in it, what it felt like the next kind of phase of Magic, where, yeah, there were some strong cards, like, you know, was it Armageddon or Apocalypse or whatever. I think I confused these two when we were talking in one of the other videos. Yeah, you could make decks of this stuff and all, but once it kind of got around to, like, the symbols changed to like a rarity, right? Like, you know, you were seeing rare, so you were like, okay, this is getting more serious, and we're collecting it. Now we're trying to come up with ideas, but the collecting kind of started to creep up, you know what I mean, of certain cards. But yeah, it was a unique take of starting in 97, trying to play through this stuff, and then we'll go through the rest of this, guys, don't worry. And not being out of it too far, going through like it felt like a really fun and active time in the game, but also not trying to like reach back too far into the cards where you would see them, you have some copies, you could play with them. There was no P9 involved. Like my one friend had some, the one kid, Ryan, he had some, but it wasn't like he really used them. He used some of it in that blue deck he had. It was annoying, but it wasn't like you couldn't use certain things, you know. You couldn't use certain stuff. You couldn't use certain stuff and get ahead and beat him eventually, you know. So with that said, there's more to say to it, but it was a unique take in that small phase of 97 to 2000 of playing the game. I think I was confusing these two cards. The Apocalypse here. No, can you see it? Is it coming through? And Armageddon. This was the other card I believe I was thinking of that you couldn't use. I think I was saying this name, but it was Armageddon actually. You couldn't use Never Knows Disc, you couldn't use Armageddon, and you couldn't use and then you couldn't use the joke cards, right? Apocalypse was two. I think they were like, you can't use that. Other than that, I mean, like I said, you could use what you wanted to. So let's go through the rest. Some cool cards, Opalescence. Like, I pulled a lot of these cards, you know what I mean? These are a lot of rares I had. Some other stuff, whatever's in here. I'm trying to hold it up. Some of these might be rares that are like Lurgoy. Like, that was a funny rare. I always thought that was fun. You know, stuff that you like, stuff later on, like you could see where this isn't. I didn't stack this into the same like slot. Sometimes I would put them back to back because this was the last set. This was that Nemesis set. So, yeah. Oh, you got the Birds of Paradise. These have to be somewhere, which is funny because I used these, so I'm not sure where those are at, but I know I have more copies of this. I used these things, and this is a really good card. Really fun card. I mean, it was almost like a must-have. But yeah, Scrap Heap. This one right here, Exploration. You know what? Wow, man, I forgot all about this. What was the story with this one? I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I pulled this one, or I traded for. I think I pulled this one. There was another card though. It wasn't this version. It was the blue version of that. Let's put it over here. And what was it? It looked a little different. It wasn't obviously for green, but it was a land. And it looked a little different on like the border, I think, but it added I think it added blue, and I pulled that one too. And I remember it was like a really cool card. I really liked it, and my friend wanted it for some reason. And you know, I tried to be cool, but and like I really didn't want to trade it. I was like, no, I don't want to trade it, dude. And all these old rares. And he eventually got it from me for something, I don't know. This was another one, this stupid card right here. You could see there's somebody who got pissed, I remember. It's all fucked up on the corner right here. Somebody really wanted these. And I don't ever remember giving a shit or caring about these. It's just that somebody, I don't think I traded them. I think I was mad because some kids would like, I need that card. And it was like I was trying to be accommodating because they were my friends, you know? And when you're a kid, you're like, yeah, okay. But I think I just didn't. I was like, no, maybe it's worth money, you know? And I was like, no, fuck you, and I'm not going to trade it, you know? I think I had another copy, though. I think I eventually did. I think he just wanted more copies of it, though. This was in Mercadian, so I was probably at the end of my like rope where I'm like, I'm not trading it. Like, I don't care. I think I had two, though, and I traded them, and then he got mad that I wouldn't trade him this one. It was like, whatever, dude. I'm pretty sure everything was fine after, you know, a week later we're fine, but whatever. But the other card of the land card, the other one of this, the land card, it was like a really cool card, and I was like, I should get some more of these. But it was a little spendy. Like, it was like I couldn't just go find them because it was still new. It was still like Urza's. People were still opening up and pulling them out, right? So because of that, I hit the camera a little bit. Because of that, Volrath's Lab. Remember that one, Volrath's Lab. Here's some old sets. Infinite Hourglass. Got a little City of Traders up here. I might have a couple of those. I don't know. I know some of these cards that like there's like two of them in there. This one I put into two different slots. I don't know why. I know which one I've put into multiple slots because I remember trading for them. This is like the end of it. So, and it was this. I'll show it to you real quick. Where is it? It was these ones right here. Anthroplasm. See, I know I got 4 of these, and I don't know why they're not in a thing, but I think I had some idea with these Anthroplasms. I was going to do something, and then these are going to be great, and then I didn't end up using them. It was sort of like the, where are they at? This, digging over here in the stuff. It was sort of like these Claws of Gix ordeal, like something I was trying to make, and it didn't pan out, and then they made me do this, right? So let's talk about my friends for a minute. They wanted that card, whatever the land card was, and they made me trade that thing away. Like, I got some stuff out of it, but it was like you made me trade this, and I liked this card. I was going to use it, and it was like sometimes they would do that, and there was stealing too. I don't believe I ever got stolen from, but some kids did, and I think another kid tried to do the same thing with this one. It was like, I want that card, you know, because I'm going to do something. It was like, well, I play green, so, you know, you guys don't freaking play green. I do. So maybe I'll just keep it. And I think it was part of because the other kid got that blue card from me. It was like, you know, you guys, I would make trades all the time. I would help them out, but they would help me out too. And a lot of it had to do with my friend Ryan, who would, you know, help me out with certain cards. And the thing is, what was funny is he like, I probably got this from him. I guarantee he had foils of this. And I remember these cards were so cool. And getting stuff like this from him, you could get other like random crap like this, or like, you know, what I was like Chronicles. You could get stuff like that. He'd give me a bunch, and I'll talk about the gold cards too. But getting stuff like this from him was like pulling teeth. You could not get stuff like that. Like, if he liked it and wanted it, you're gonna have to trade a lot for it, or you weren't gonna get it. Oh, here we go. Oh, wait a minute. No, but these were these were in. This has got to be it. This has got to be it, because these were in my deck. I don't remember at what point I didn't use these or took these out, but yeah. I don't know what these are doing in here because this is blue. These are on top here. This is like is this a direct damage card? Yeah, this is a good, not too bad. But you know what? This is blue, and I'm guessing these are decks of mine. But these are from that set, so maybe I threw these on top, like I'm gonna put these in here, and then I never did or something. But this is definitely my red deck. Hang on, guys, I gotta check the time. I'm gonna hold this right here. I'm just gonna see how much data I still have on this camera. Okay, I got like 12 minutes left on here. So yeah, this is it. This is it. Oh man, I don't know what this is, but this is it. Oh no, well, wait a minute. What is it? Uh-oh. Well, this is blue. So what is this? Well, this is blue. Oh, this is just extra cards. Oh, this must be my blue deck that I had. This is my blue deck. This is probably my original blue deck that I had. Brainstorm, drawing cards, wizards, Centabrine, Soothsaying. Yeah, this is definitely Dreamcast. This looks like not a lot of counter spells, right? Counter spells, rewind, disrupt. Yeah, this is thwart, miscalculation. This doesn't look complete though, because this is a bunch of counter spells. I don't see any other really I mean, there's some creatures, but recall. Who knows? I don't know anymore what I was trying to do with this. Whispers of the Muse. This is a lot of I don't know. Who knows, right? It's just who knows. So the story was obviously kids would steal, right? So I want to go back to this real quick. I'm excited to look through this. I am so excited to look through this. Yeah, you could not get this stuff, but let's go back. So you would stay over my friend Ryan's house, and there was another group of friends you could stay in. Staying at this guy's house, the other kid's house was he had a huge house. It was kind of older though, but it was a large house, and his parents were never there, I remember. And this kid, it was almost like a little card convention. A lot of kids would stay there. It would be 12, 14 kids would be staying there. And it would we'd trade cards. It would be up all night. Kids would be stealing. People would get in little confrontations. It was ridiculous to where I only did that maybe 2 or 3 times. It could have been, it wasn't a bunch. I can tell you that. It was only a few times. And it was bad because kids would try and steal. And I remember one of the good friends in our group of Magic friends, this other kid played Magic, but he wasn't really in our group of Magic friends. And it wasn't we were trying to exclude him. He was kind of a jerk. And what it was, he talked with some of those other kids from the group more and was friends with them more. But one of the good friends in my group, me, Ryan, and another kid, he didn't like the other kid because that kid was dating his sister. And because I would hang out with that kid, he didn't like me either. So he didn't like that one kid, and he didn't like me. So when we would still be invited over the house because we played Magic and we had cards, he'd always try to beat us and everything, and he would lose a lot too. He would win, but I remember beating his ass with this deck, which brings back some memories. And he didn't like me. He didn't like my friend because he dated his sister, and he didn't like me. And I was always worried they're going to steal some of my cards, and there was some confrontations. There was some little fights, if you'd even call them that back then, nerd fights. And it didn't get very far. And so really I stopped going to those, and my friend Ryan would have sleepover. We'd go over Ryan's house, and that was only like 4 or 5 other kids besides Ryan. So it was like 5 or 6 kids total. And that's where, like, in the beginning, it was funny because he didn't really want to play Magic. We were like, you know, playing video games and goofing off and like jumping on his trampoline and shit. And then eventually, after a couple times, we're like, okay, let's play Magic. You know, we all play Magic. It's like, and he's the one, like I said, he would hook me up with some of these cards. This is kind of worn. You could tell I use this card. I mean, look at these cards, dude. These cards are worn because I've handled these cards, I don't know, countless times. And this was something that was in the works. I had improved on this and thought about it and changed it up. And it was relatively a simple setup. You know, it was red. It was direct damage with creatures. That's when I got more into Magic in '99. We talk about it. We'd theory craft. We trade cards. He'd give me some cards. I thought, and part of it was what I just saw in here. I just saw one when I opened this was these gold cards, these energy bolts. I must have been Mr. Unlucky when it came to getting gold cards because I have opened Mirage. I have opened sets that had these. I didn't ever remember getting any of these until I went to his house and then he had a bunch. And I mean, he probably gave me these, and it was like, what are these, dude? And he's like, yeah, they're just. He didn't even care about them. They were nothing, right? And it was like you could just have them. It was like that's how we started. You know, it was like the higher level of like talking about Magic, and we became closer friends. It was like, this is what we can do. This is a good idea. You know, like because he had so many cards to look through, so we talk about ideas. You know, we trade cards. He'd give me like random, like this, like random bolt crap. Look at the Stone Rain. That's funny. And that's what we do. And eventually I come to understand why he wanted to play newer sets. He had a lot of the old stuff, but I didn't. But he would give me stuff if I really wanted it or something, unless it was like this, then I wasn't getting that. I'd have to trade for that. You know what I mean? Like, and if he didn't want to let it go, it was like he didn't want to let go, or you'd have to trade a lot. So I didn't bother too much until this came around. So anyway, and that's kind of how we started to really like, you know, trade cards. I got a lot of different variety of cards. We talked about newer sets, and it was a way of like getting into the game more, like kind of like how the rules are now. You play. It keeps going forward. You keep playing to the newer sets, right? But I would go back and I would buy, you know, I'd still find Mirage, I'd find Tempest, you'd find even some Ice Age. I got some Ice Age because I liked it. I had a thing, I really liked Ice Age. It was before I started playing, but I really liked it, but he didn't, you know what I mean? He didn't really, you know, he had a lot of stuff though, like I was showing, like Arabian Nights, he had everything, you know what I mean? But this is not. This must have not been in the deck. Let's look at this. Let's take a look before it gets too late. Oh my God, here we go. Mountains. I had a lot of land in this deck, so mountains. You could tell these are all Urzas. That's how much Urzas I bought. They're all going to be Urza's lands. Oh my God, they're all Urza's lands. And here we go with the Keldon Champion. One of the few creatures I had in here, just because it was damage. You know what I mean? This is a great card. Flame Jets, you got to have Flame Jets, right? Flame Jets, Shock. Look how worn these cards are too. Shock, Lightning Blast. Lightning Blast. Oh, the Lightning Bolts, the old Lightning Bolts. You can't. It's not a red deck if you don't have Lightning Bolts. You ain't playing. I only have 3, which is weird. So, and these look kind of newer. This one is all beat up. It almost feels like maybe I replaced them or they got damaged or something. Why I don't have 4 Lightning Bolts in here. Because this one is a different edition. It's all beat up. I mean, look at these Lightning Blasts. They're all, look at these things are destroyed. These things are messed up. I probably replaced them or something and never got around to it, like to, you know, whatever I was doing. But yeah, the old Arc Lightning from Urza's. Arc Lightnings. Fire Blast. This card, this card would I pissed some kids off with these one for sure, because you could sacrifice 2 mountains. This was like a big hurrah, like FU, if you wanted to finish them off, you know, 4 damage, and they're done. Lava Burst. Yeah, look at these lava. Look how this one is all scratched up. These Lava Bursts. Oh, Carevex Torch. Yep. Carevex Torch. Incinerate. Oh my god. Oh my god. Incinerate. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely remember playing these cards. Disintegrate, an all-time favorite, right? Disintegrate. An old card. Everybody knows this card. And Blaze, of course, you pump up your Blazes, right? Just like the other ones. Blaze was, you know, what? 6th edition. Blaze. Pump up your Blaze, pump up your Disintegrates. All-time favorite cards in here. So this must not be part of it. This must be what I had at the sideboard cards, right? Yeah, because these you got to sacrifice a creature, and like I remember having these little guys in. I mean, it was great. Yeah, this has got to be it, because Stone Rain, Destroy Lands, Avalanche Riders. So that was like, if you had to sub those in for something, that's, you know, you were destroying lands with this. This were for more creatures if I needed creatures, I guess. Same here, more like creatures if I needed to put in, or Lunge was probably extra. I don't think I ever rotated this in and never figured it out. But it was just one of those cards that was like, it could be direct damage, you know, but I'm not putting in planes, you know, so I probably never. But there was reasons for these. There was reasons for these cards, is what I'm saying, if I needed to. But this was it. This was the, and these ones, of course, back here were stuff I've used and got rid of. That, you know, I've like I said, I replaced it and tweaked it a lot. But this is it. This is the original deck that I've pissed people off. I pissed people off so bad that they made me make this one. And that was the funnest time, was playing this one. You know what I mean? The original. These even look bent right. These don't even look like they belong on here. Look at these mountains right here. This is like, these ones are like sitting off. I don't know how many I have. I'm guessing maybe I just threw these in here. Maybe I replaced some. It could have been, but these look bent, and these ones don't. So maybe I'm running out of space here, guys. This is like the third the third activation of this camera. So anyway, yeah, these as I was saying, these are bent. So I don't know what the status of this is. Maybe I replaced some. Maybe I added some lands. I don't know. Maybe I just put them in there. So that's the story with this deck. And anyway, yeah, that's the story of basically Urza's. Yeah. What am I thinking of right now? That's basically it. Anyway, here's the last thing I'm going to show. Is this? Can you guess what deck it is? Right? I think I already said. Especially because I had those those printed out cards, right? Those proxy cards, printed from an old ass printer. I can. It won't even come out. Can I get it out? Jeez. Ay, ay, ay. And another Blaze, right? This was probably in here, somewhere around here, because I couldn't get away from it. It was like I had to add an FU to here, like, you know, if I feel like it, you know, if I have enough lands, I guess I'll use one of these. But they made me stop using this because of that, and I eventually. And this was like this was a 99. This was as most advanced. This was like I think I started making this that summer while getting this phased out, or earlier in the summer. We're like, we're doing other things, and you could still play that and bring it, you know, we'll mess around, but this was like, we want you, like, let's start advancing our stuff, guys. Let's start using like coming up with ideas and using the new cards that we like, you know, that we're getting out of these sets. So yeah, here it is, the sneak attack deck. That sneak attack, got to regrowth, got to have, bring a card back, right? Colossus of Sardia. Jeez, guys. Because it was a big creature, had trample. Great card. Man, I remember these cards. Noble Benefactor. Got to look for a card. I mean, you got to have this. If you didn't have this, it was over. Elvish Piper for this creature. That was another card you could put in a creature, right? You got Radiance. This was part of the whole combo. This was the whole one part of the purpose was to get this card. You get 5 life when it comes into play. You got Great Whale, untap lands. Great card. It was part of the idea. This was part of it. Wizard Mentor. Had to have that. The Nico Bolas. Here they are. You saw that other one. I had copies I got from I'm pretty sure I got these from him. This card would piss people off. I had to have a little piss off action in here though, right? Part of it was to piss people off. Because when you got hit, right, you didn't have to pay all that. All you paid was that. And they discard their hand and it would piss them off. I do believe there's a reason I don't have 4 of these in here, because the other one was somewhere over here. I think they only let me have 3, or there's a reason for that. But yeah, I definitely I definitely remember pissing people off with this card. But it was at flying. It was a big creature, you know what I mean? I got away with it, but I still wasn't going to play bullshit cards. But I definitely remember something about only having 3 in here. Anyway, Endless Worm from Urza's. I remember pulling these, and I hated the fact that I got these. I was like, man, these are crap. And then they ended up being a blessing because I used them in here. And these ones too. What was the deal with these ones? Because they went back in your hand. So if they got destroyed, they just go right back in your hand. That was part of the thing. Oh, and then Fling. That's part of the whole deal, right? Fling, gotta have that. Oh, and then you got your Lightning Dragon. Then I got my lands. Oh man, this was another card that I got from him. Like this, these are still sitting here, so I might as well pull it out. These Masticores, right? I got these. I'm pretty sure I got at least 2 of these from him. Maybe even the 3rd. I might have pulled one out of a pack, but he didn't let these go easy. And you know what was crazy is I don't even think I really needed these. I remember being like, "Oh yeah, you want these? They're on the where's the thing? They're on the freaking box." You know, so everything that was on, people would think, "Oh, they're great." You know what I mean? Oh, those are the cards. But I was like, I don't really need those though. Like, you know, but you know, I mean, it is what it is. Like, I got them. I didn't really care. I had other ideas. I tried to make it cheap and not, you know, I wanted to buy the packs. I didn't want to go and just buy cards for expensive to make this when there was other stuff, unless I really needed it. And that's probably why I only ever got 3 of the actual sneak attacks, because they were kind of expensive and nobody had them and I couldn't really get them. So here's the lands, some islands, some mountains. Oh, here's my foreign mountains, right? Like the other ones I put in there. Here's my foreign mountains here's some of those Ice Age mountains that I loved. Tempest, a couple forests. City of Brass, here they are. I don't think I ever got those either, because there's 3 colors in here, right? So you needed that, but I don't think I ever finished that either. And here's the rest of the stuff, right? Camera's gonna go off here in a little bit. Gamble, because you needed that card. But these were 2. There's something bad about these. I guess because it's random, right? You don't want to hit Silverback because it regenerates. I didn't get those for a reason. And these were too expensive. That was part of the deal. They were good, but they were just too expensive. And I think I took them out. But that's basically a look into these cards. If this video ends because this camera's going dead, then it is what it is. I'll put this video, I'll put it in with the other, we'll splice it or something, I don't know. But this is basically it. These are the cards. These are the times. that was the only time I got 97 through 2000. That was it, guys. It was over by then. It was a unique time to be playing these cards, and that's why I have so many of these cards, because this was the era I played in, and it was a lot of fun. I still went back and got older cards, some, but not as many as I would have liked to. There's some other stories about playing back then. I have to think about it. Maybe I'll put it into the Pokemon video when I do that. But this was mostly it, and I appreciate you guys, going along with me on this journey about, what it was like playing back then and the cards I got and why. So I appreciate it. I'll probably end it here.